Hi, I'm Carcina.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Welcome. Man. Boy. Hit the like button, y'all. There's been a lot of problems with people getting notified and all that craziness. We're going to try to get past all of that right now and get right to the juice. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button right now because this is the one you're going to want to hit the like button for. Straight up and down. 50 ain't playing no game. Rick Ross thought he was going to have that concert. Rick, let's see how many people actually show up to that concert now. You wanted to play with 50. Now you're going to find out what playing with 50 is. And Terry Flannery and Meech Flannery has done something so foul that I've seen, people that be in the dope game, they foul, bruh. They foul. They foul. Now, here's the thing that went left. That shocked everybody in the world. What shocked people was the simple fact they put a system in place that was going to feed Meech and Terry and all of them. They would have just been some guys in jail that other people are gonna use when they get out of jail. Same thing Rick Ross is doing right now, and Preem's son. The same thing these two guys are doing to you right now, selling you and using you for cheap. They give you a little bitty bag, a little attention, just so they could throw it in 50 face. That's what it was about. And y'all just there to get the little bag, not realizing what he set up for y'all. Y'all known now by people on social media, regular people that would have never known who BMF was at all, besides what they didn't read on some A&E special. If it wasn't for 50 giving y'all that light. Lil Meech, your son, Big Meech, and you were very adamant you wanted him to portray you. They actually took time to coach him up, to give him basically a year, put the project off for like a year, just so they could coach him up so that he could play you. Because people had to believe this is Big Meech. That's how much they believed in the project. He did that for your son to put him in a position now he could be a millionaire. Your son can be a millionaire now. And all the people that left you to rot, like Jeezy, like Fab, all these guys that you was rolling with when y'all had money, Didn't do anything for y'all when y'all were locked up. They used y'all for y'all connections, and y'all like, yeah, they rolling with me. But when things go bad, nobody's around. How many times are we gonna see that story? Just so Terry was being disrespectful. Fifth was gonna stop the show because of Terry. Terry was already moving foul and shouting out Preem and Preem and them and all that. So he was already moving in a different way. But he was staying cool with Meech because Meech was the one, like saying, okay, Meech, this and that. Then he comes home and links up with Rick Ross, and does this. And one of the biggest snake moves I probably have seen, knowing Fifth's relationship with Ross ain't good. I wouldn't do no business with Rick Ross. And I'm not even G Unit. I don't deal with Ross. So that's just it. He's out. I mean, man, Ross offered you a bag. Yeah, I bet you Ross asked you be like, here's 500,000. You gonna be like, taking that. I'll be like, slap Rick Ross in his damn face. Don't tell my man Rick Ross will whoop your ass. I'll be nope. He ain't had that energy when them white boys whooping his ass. That white boy put that jab on him like, stick it. Ooh. I'm like, what do you think I'm gonna do? You ain't want no smoke. That boy ate a jab like zip. That boy lip swelled up. That boy said, damn. I'ma back up off of it and sit my cup down. Cash App and Super Chat. You know it for life. Cash App's Carcino. Super Chat working. And these guys don't seem to know anything about loyalty. Everything is about the bag, but they talk about it on the show. The show make them seem more loyal than they actually are. Because in real life, I'd already heard how grimy some of these dudes and some of the things they did was in the D. And the griminess is the reason they had to go and leave the D. It wasn't because there wasn't no money in the D, though. They got drove out the D. So it's a lot of shystiness and disloyal things that happen. But they want loyalty to go one way. But Fifth ain't the one. He ain't gonna be the one. No. Y'all gotta know who y'all dealing with. That's a whole different kind of monster. If you go up against him and try to betray him in that way, bruh, no. Y'all ain't ready for Fifth. So Fifth comes out with this rat emoji and say, I think I'm Big Meech on his IG. And everybody like, what's that about? That seemed crazy. Why would he say that? Especially after Ross. After seeing him with Ross, that was the last thing. You finna do a concert with Rick Ross? I don't think so. Let me put my heart right there. I seen that. Now, he left a statement here saying, they said, oh, let me go back to it.
Hey, yo, man, I'm hearing already.
The biggest mistake he ever made was not sustaining his relationship with Tammy Cowins. Her tell-all doc reveals the truth. The biggest mistake he ever made was not keeping his relationship with Tammy Cowins. Tammy Cowins is the woman that negotiated the deal to bring him to the whole thing. Like, she was a government informant. So, and she brought all the information, like she has the rights, the authority, the power of attorney. She represented everything with Meech to tell his story. She had the everything that he got from jail. Tammy was the one authorized to do it. So Terry already was just moving funny. That was just him, just being Terry. Yeah, so things are gonna change under a whole new scope now because now you tried to embarrass me. You teamed up with somebody trying to embarrass me. And for what? Y'all not calling it in the streets no more. That street stuff, calling it in the streets, it's not like that no more. You bumped your head, and now you got to pay the price. And that's right now, he is definitely pissed off, and he ain't playing. And he telling everybody, hey, you better watch Power. If y'all like, if y'all like BMF, y'all better watch it now, or it's gonna be gone. So if y'all like BMF, season 4 is the final chapter. Be sure to catch the next season of BMF. It's gonna be out of here. He's like, boy, that escalated quickly. It's the final season. Yeah. So if y'all like it, y'all better watch it. Cause after season 4, it ain't no more. And he's like, I'm gonna be on 50 action, and then everybody, and that's sad because all those people who worked on that show, it's all gonna come to an end, all because of people, you know, trying to go for short money instead of what's the, they can't do long term. They short minded. They got to think right now. I need that bag now. I got to get the bag, man. I got to get that bag right now. I need it now. And once you start thinking like that, you get short minded thinkers around you. They'll mess your whole thing up. Oh yeah, it's serious. It's a lot of people with their own innuendos um, that's out there. They can make up their own mind on what it is that they want to do. They need to move around, right, to make the right adjustments to make sure it's right. But they know what time it is. Come on, nobody's stupid. No, because Tammy's situation is going to be a worse situation for them than they could ever imagine. You know, if if you want to say goodbye to BMF, the series, they're doing a damn good job of sabotage. It still meets your story. Well, according to Tammy, it ain't. Now, if they trying to sabotage it on purpose because they want it to go away, buddy, fifth will make it to where y'all don't make no money in this damn thing. I mean, it's on something serious. He will make it where y'all don't get no money.
Hey, yo, man, I'm hearing already some people was pulling out of that concert. Yeah, on February 13th, that Big Meech was having. You heard? I know Little Baby ain't performing, right? Yeah, he said he ain't fucking with Gunna no more because Gunna a rat. I know he ain't performing that Big Meech shit. Yeah, 50 on the internet calling this nigga a rat. Talking about Tammy Cowins. This shit didn't grew some legs. Yeah, from when we was on the internet a few months ago talking about, yo, how Cuffy get indicted, how the Migo get indicted, and Meech ain't get indicted, blah, blah, blah. This shit didn't grew some legs since then. Yeah, because if Tammy then told 50 and yo, 50, let me narrate this shit, B. Let me narrate this shit. Let's get to that. Yeah, New York, nigga. Let's get to that. Yeah. Who's going to this concert? I said I want to. Who's going to this concert still? Yeah. What's really going on out here? Let's get to that. Hey, yo, man, I'm hearing already some people was pulling out of that concert. You know.
Now, when you look at it, you're going to see it at face value. It looked kind of crazy, right? That's what people are going to say. Like, man, that's kind of crazy, man, how that is all played out. Like, my man was up there with Rick Ross. Like, that's my guy. He got me. Ross is using you to sell his merch. It's like, dog, you don't see that? And he want to send a shot at 50 and all that? Like, come on. How you going to be that disrespectful? There's no loyalty in the game no more. None. Everybody is cool with being a snitch, a rat, and all kind of craziness. Now, I don't know if he ratted or not, because I haven't seen any paperwork. Not at all. None. Zilch. But it's just strange to me. Yeah, it's pretty strange. When you see that materialize, pretty strange. Weird activity going on over there. And a lot of people not really, like, the people that know. Like, we got family in the D. I tell my Patreons that. Okay. All right. So yeah, I tell the Patreons that part of it. But when you start looking at the main ingredients and how it's laid out, oh, you'll see it. That's because most people in the game, they don't know what the hell they doing. Most of these dudes just come up with anything just to be saying it. Dude, every day there's a new guy that's got the answer. Every day. Every day there's some new guy. He got the answer that don't nobody else know, but he got the answers. Dog, if let's say somebody was ratting, right? Let's say somebody was a snitch. Would you go to a concert? It'd be like that movie Trap. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be up in there. There's no way in hell I'm going. I'm gonna be like, this is a trap. This is like that Desiree Perez. I don't deal with nobody that used to be in the feds. To me, they still in the feds. That means, dog, if somebody went to the feds and did some activity, that person will always go to the feds and do some activity. Why would you be around them? I don't even care if I ain't doing nothing criminal. I'm doing everything legit. I don't want them in my business at all. See? And it's always a woman that busts out the rats. It's always a female. Like when this one guy came and got busted, I knew he was going to get busted, but I always knew the type of dude he was. He was like they gave him and praised him too much. And it was like, yo, man, Prince is for real, man. Prince is that guy, man. You got to deal with Prince. And he played the part. Like he was, call me Prince. And it was like, oh, okay. He ain't from my hood. I don't know him. I don't know what area he's from, but my guys, like some of them, they roll with Prince. And Prince, man, he got the jewelry and all that. So he seemed like a tough enforcer. Then next thing you know, him and another guy we know from the neighborhood got busted and went to jail. It was, man, Prince in jail. And he went in with the dude. Prince gets out and he's back kicking it. And I met up with them and Prince shows up there. And I'm like, y'all told me Prince got locked up. Like, yo, Prince, you just got out. How you get out? Did what's his name get out with you? Y'all beat the case? And he was like, oh, yeah, they ain't got nothing on me. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I ain't nothing. The dude girl came up in there. She didn't even know he was going to be there. She ran into him. And when she ran into him, she said, you a rat. Right in front of everybody, his crew, our guys, his guys. It was like, what? Right, I told you that. Sincerely, like you told us this story before. Exactly. The girl called him a rat and said, I know because he wrote me. He called and told me. They got the statements from you. Police statements. His lawyers got the statements saying everything you didn't told him. You even told him his government name. You a rat. And he was calling all kind of bees at the end of the day. So she wouldn't let it go. So he tried to stay there and still kick it. Then at the end of the day, at the end of the night, she was like, man, y'all hanging out with that rat? Y'all, like, she was like, I lost all respect for y'all. All y'all hanging with him. I was like, I ain't hanging with him. She's like, I wasn't talking to you. I know you ain't hanging with him. It's them. And right away, he got mad and tried to fight the girl. I'm like, yeah, I did tell him that, nigga. So what? So, yeah. And I say, yep, rats. Now, I'm not saying Meech rat because I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did. But I do know she worked for the federal government. Like, she was a government informant. And Tammy did have control of his story. That's facts. That's like saying Desiree Perez wasn't an informant. She was. She told on some people and got them locked up. That actually happened. That actually went down. Now, some of this stuff I'm going to save for y'all. On the Patreon and give y'all some more details into this. But some people from the D who really knew what was going on and some people who really know the BMF situation, the trap talk, they had already kind of broke it down because Da Vinci was talking about it as well. Now, so
about some newly resurfaced
let's go.
connecting Big Meech to a drug deal between a Mexican cartel member and a St. Louis kingpin, with the help of a confidential informant who apparently brokered the deal with 50 Cent to produce the BMF miniseries on Stars. Now, according to the documents exposed in a recent Cam Capone interview with Blue Da Vinci, the former BMF artist claims that he had obtained the paperwork in 2015. That indicates Big Meech using an associate named Tammy Cowins to help broker a deal between Dion Gatlin aka Cuffy and Fidel Suarez. But it turns out that Tammy Cowins is a confidential informant working with the DEA. Now, of course, this is not new information to anyone that's been following the BMF story. In fact, the First Lady of BMF, Tonisa Welsh, exposed this information during a Vlad interview, where she stated that Meech turned over the rights about his life story to a rat named Tammy Cowins. But what we know so far about Meech and Tammy's involvement in the case is pretty vague, largely due to the fact that the case fell apart once Fidel Suarez lawyers discovered that Cowins was involved in an inappropriate sexual relationship with Keith Cromer, the DEA agent and lead investigator of the case. But according to Cuffy Gatlin, who was subsequently sentenced to 27 years in prison, he believes that Big Meech was also cooperating with the DEA in favor of getting a reduction from his 30-year sentence. Now, of course, these claims were denied by Big Meech, who the feds claim to be an unindicted co-conspirator. And in a statement given to investigators by Tammy Cowins, she claims that Big Meech was only included in the investigation because of Keith Cromer's jealous feelings towards Meech and Tammy's relationship. Nevertheless, according to court documents, Tammy Cowins made over $200,000 for working with the DEA, and Cuffy Gatlin is still fighting his case through the appellate courts. We will keep you guys updated on any new news surrounding this case.
Now, that fills you in. So, now, on the Patreon, I'm going to tell y'all some things that was missing in those gaps. Some things was missing in those gaps. I'll tell the Patreon. So, yeah, season 4, and then that's it. After season 4, unless everybody watch it, and it breaks a record, that's the only way it's coming back for season 5. 5th is getting rid of it. Said 5th knew all this and still decided to make a series. Well, see, here's the thing. There's no one guy. Cuffy is the one that's saying that Meech snitched and Meech ratted, right? Because Cuffy feels like he got set up. You didn't know that girl was working for DEA and all that, and you cut a deal. That's how he felt. Like, you cut a deal to reduce your sentence, and mine, I'm still fighting 27 years off this woman, and then this woman is representing you and got your rights to go for you to get a TV deal with 50 Cent. And then the former DEA that she was having an affair with, who was investigating the case, is saying that she was messing around and she did that. And Meech told he's corroborating that story. And she said he's doing that because he's jealous of the relationship that Meech and her had. He was jealous. So that's two conflicting stories, because she's not really saying Meech told her anything. Like, Meech's name only got brought up because of this guy's jealousy. Like, he got dragged into it. So well, I don't know, because T ain't really talking, and 5th ain't really dealing with Terry at all. Like, Terry's done. That's how he look at it. Like, I don't even want nothing to do with Terry. After he went over there with Preem's son, and he was like, man, Terry didn't understand the problem. And it's like, you take any little bit of money or a little bit of a like or somebody was cool with him, and that's how he looked at it. Like, look, dude, Pring was cool with me when I was a shorty. Like we was doing our thing. We came up. Pring was like one of our guys, and this is like our little guy. So, that's me looking out for the little homie. I ain't got nothing to do with us. So he got a free Pring, free meat shirt up, and that wasn't going. That didn't look right. If you fifth, that ain't looking right. Definitely. I'm glad something got Cito off the trade. Oh yeah, I was going off of that trade for like 48 hours straight. And I'm still ain't off the trade. But I mean, while y'all think I'm off the trade right now, it's all researching this Nico Harris and the whole corruption thing he just did. And the jealousy of him, with Luka Doncic, his wife want to sleep with Luka, all kind of crazy stuff. So there's some craziness going on over there. They trying to throw dirt on Luka's name. It's some mad crazy. Hmm. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Now the dynamics have changed because once you didn't put that whole thing in motion, Fifth is only finna apply the pressure. Because if any rappers show up to this event when there's like things looming that he could be telling, what real gangsters is finna start going around once that start flying around? Fifth know it probably ain't true. Fifth just gonna put it out there anyway. You're a rat. Other people saying that it's a rat. You hanging out with her, but that's what he's saying. Like her documentary tell all gonna be everything because Meech just fell out with her. Like allegedly, according to Fifth, like that's what he said. That was Meech's biggest mistake was falling out with that woman. Now he's like that tell all documentary is gonna be explosive. Fifth will put the money up and put it on 50 action on Roku and everything else. 50 ain't playing around. What Jeezy got to say, man, Jeezy ain't trying to be around none of that. Jeezy was the one that came up short. You see, he rolling with Gucci Man. Gucci came out and was rolling with him. And Fifth did all that he did. He helped out Gucci. So that's what I'm saying. It's like in this game, and they people like the dude said, man, you wonder why 50 is the way he is. Look at the people that look how they doing. But this is the streets. Not everybody see the long-term goal. Meech just got out of the jail, man. So he gonna try to grab at any little dollar somebody waving. So if Rick Ross gonna put together this big event, gonna show him some money. This is what happens. Told you, I've seen it at every level. I've seen betrayal at every level. I've seen dudes not have long-term thinking power. They sell out short. I've dealt with that in business. People think small-minded. We had a business deal on the table, and I told you this fool did not want to see this man make any money out of the deal. I'm like, dude, what do you care? You finna get like seven something. You getting the most money out of everybody in the pot. But just the fact that this one guy was gonna get some money off the deal, he did not want to do the deal. Nah, I'll let it whole thing blow up. I'm gonna be good. I don't want him making a dime. just because his ego was bruised. That this guy was like, man, I'm getting money and I ain't even had to do as much work as y'all. Just for him saying that, ego out of the thing, guy was like, I just can't do it. I'm like, dude, we thinking long term. Long term. Nope, can't do it. Can't be around him at all. He can't get a dime. He got to go. I'm like, this kind of guy's going to fade out anyway. Let him get his little money now. He can go make it. He was like, you don't understand. I can't be a part of him getting no money. He can't have none of that on me. We do this deal without him. If we can do that, I'm like, we can't do the deal without him. He brought the deal. So the person that brings the deal, we can't cut them out. All we can do is not do the deal with them. He gonna go to somebody else with the deal. He's like, I can't get no money with that man. I won't do it. So I've seen this happen at every level. When we were in sales, he said, I'm from Detroit and we straight. That's what's up. Well, I ain't been to Detroit in a minute, but the D was always, you could tell the D. Like you could feel the energy in the D. Like you could feel, period. You could almost tell if somebody from the D. Right away. Because one, they don't let you know they from the D. That's one. Two, they attitude is just a whole different attitude than Chicago. You can tell. They wear it everywhere they go. Like it's us versus everybody. The D. So they wear that everywhere they go. They wear it with pride. They love being the underdog. They don't want to do it the way you do it. They want to do it the way they do it. All the time. Detroit might be a lot of things, brother, but it ain't never been weak. I mean, I don't know what part of Detroit you have been at, but anything past 8 Mile is intense. Hell, I walked to the store and it was hot. I'm like, damn, I'm at the corner store just buying some candy as a kid. I had to break up out of there. Good thing I knew how to get back to the crib. Shoot, they was chasing me out the store. They ain't even just because they ain't know me. I was, damn. They couldn't catch me though. Because I took the back, I ain't take the street. Like I ain't take the main street. I was cutting through people's yards. And I'm not even from the D. And I'm cutting through people's yards to get there. Like to get to the store. Because that's how you really get to the store. If you live there, it's the shortcut. I'm gonna go all the way to the end of the block, go all the way around. So they couldn't find me at all. As soon as I got up out the store. He said, "You not from Detroit, you Saginaw." See, that's where you got it kind of messed up. We got family in Saginaw, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Flint, Michigan. Don't you know most of the people in Michigan came from Chicago, which came from down south. They came up here with all the factory jobs, like the steel mills, all the mill jobs, right? So they brought all the people in the Great Migration, all them people from down south, moved up here to the city. That's how we got here. We started out on the west side, Then by the time I was born, we was on the south side. Then everybody who was up here with my grandfather, who was the oldest, brought his brothers and sisters up here. And then they had openings in Saginaw, Michigan for some new shops after working in the warehouse here. And they opened it up in Saginaw. So they moved Saginaw. My other auntie, she moved out there to Saginaw. And Saginaw became lit because our family was there. We lit it up. Then my uncle and auntie in Detroit, they worked at GMC. Everybody worked at that GMC. Y'all know what it is. So they worked there at the GMC. So you gotta understand, we are in Michigan. And my other family, they went to Grand Rapids, where they knew Floyd, cousins and family, all them Tish and all them. They all went to the same school. You know, same thing, man. It's family. So Detroit is what it is. 50 bag is too little for me. See, that's what we talk about, brick flipper. Small term versus long term. People want to get everything right now. That's the hustler's mentality. They got to hit a lick. We got to hit this thing hard right now. Boom, 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 boom. Let's get this. Let's max it out. They don't have the patience. Most hustlers don't have patience for slow progress. And what this is doing is opening up a door for y'all can have your own production. Y'all can produce a show. Y'all can come in and learn what's going on. So y'all can produce. 50 will probably give y'all a show. Y'all can produce, tell side stories. This thing's could have branched off into other side TV shows from Meech, like a BMF story and all this. You could have had like 15 different shows based off that. They could have branched off into other ventures for y'all. Small time thinking leads to these type of decisions. Sometimes you lose something over something you don't even know you did wrong. I saw somebody lose a business deal. Hell, I lost one just because I came in too excited. I was too comfortable with the business owner. And I blew that whole deal. That was on me. I was like, I had to eat that one. Because the deal was done. I was like, hey. And when I shook his hand, I called him by his first name. Like, hey, all right, Bob. And shook his hand and like gave him a dap. Like gave him a little pat on the back. Boom. All right. And instead of just saying, thank you, Mr. Braithwaite. Thank you, Mr. Braithwaite. Nice doing business with you. Because the deal was done. So I'm like, hey, let's go. Oh, Trish is in here. And she come in speaking outlaw. Ain't that something? What you and outlaw got going on? There's something going on in New York. Mm-hmm. Y'all done ran LB out of here. Well, he's gonna have to, if what 50 is saying is true, he doesn't own his rights. He gave his rights over to that woman. And now that woman who got his rights, they're in trouble. I don't know what date it is, but I don't think I have time to go to Belize. Yeah, I got a lot of business deals I got to stick around for. But I wish you the best. Where's Nicholas Jacobs? Somewhere watching wrestling. Yeah, he popped in once in a while. Yeah, well, see, the major problems were on the table. I don't know, because I can't say somebody's locked up because of me. You know, Poe, he bragged about telling. It wasn't no kid. Yeah, I didn't really tell. Oh, he did. He came home and started reigniting things. This is where I did it. This is where I shot him. He didn't really die in the car. He died out here. He was still alive. I don't know why. I'm like, why put the family back through that pain again? Why would you do that? Knowing his karma came right back for him and he asked for it. He really pushed for that. That was just terrible. All for some content. Ego. He said, what man gonna tell you who you can and who you can't fool with? Let a man tell you who to fool with. That nigga your daddy? No, you can deal with him if you want to. But don't come back over here. If I'm feeding you and you going to kick it with some people that tried to have me robbed, killed, knocked out the business, and I'm sitting here feeding you, I made your son a millionaire. I put your son through acting school, everything so he could play you. They put a lot of work into this show and to get BMF off the ground. BMF was announced 5 years before it even came out. Twizzo, Little Meech is a millionaire. He's a millionaire now. Yes, legally a millionaire now. He's number one on the call sheet of a show for 3 years. Yes, his deal would make him a millionaire. Meech didn't ask him to do something for his son. Absolutely, he did. Meech was the one who requested that Little Meech play him in the movie, or he wasn't going to sign off on it. So Fifth was like, man, Little Meech couldn't act. So they had to put him through acting school to get him coached up to be able to do it. So what 50 doing is fanning the waves of what people have already been saying, what Da Vinci them's already saying. So that's what you see. So what you see that's going on is what Blue was talking about. Mm-hmm. Well, what was that, 5 months ago that happened?
Made up or this thing is fake or that I have an axe to grind. You feel me?
Right.
This is Cuffy.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowins, known in the paperwork as CS1,
Right.
confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Cowins signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut, plain and simple.
Right. So
Okay, so can you break down the story? Like, how do you know this? And how'd you come upon this information?
how do you know? How do you came upon this information though?
We were rewarded what's called a Franks hearing. It's based on a case called U.S. versus Frank. So I would implore your listeners to look the case up. And what a Franks hearing entails is that you're able to cross-examine your accusers, meaning government agents, meaning informants, and so on and so forth, just like a regular trial. So this was testified in court.
Period. Point blank.
This was testified in court that I became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
That's what was said on the stand, bro. The lady became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. But I think people would ask a question of this though. This is what I got hit with a lot is, all right, then if he did it to get a time cut, then how come he still did all that time in jail?
Well, what they don't understand is that he never received the time cut because what came out was that she had an illicit sexual relationship with Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Handler. But her first DA handler was the guy, as you should know, Blue, who wrote the BMF indictment, Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Special Agent Jack Harvey is the person that locked us all up, who's also the person that locked up Terry White, which was her first case as a DEA agent. And then he retired. He retired after he got them 60 years.
Yeah, he retired, and then her handler became a brother by the name of Keith Cromer, Special Agent Keith Cromer, who was also fired behind this particular case. So Meech never received the time cut because unbeknownst to a lot of people, it's against the law to have a sexual relationship or any personal relationship with a government informant.
Somehow, some way, because I don't know how she met Special Agent Jack Harvey. You could leave that up to question. How did Big Meech's personal assistant / the person that handles all this business / the person that owns BMF Entertainment to this day since 2008?
Special Agent Jack Harvey. She put her with Harvey.
So now she meets Special Agent Jack Harvey, and then she starts working for Special Agent Jack Harvey, but not for the Meech case. It was for a whole nother case first. It was for Terry White. But once that case went well, okay, and once that went past and Terry White got his 30 years, Special Agent Jack Harvey retired. But now she was ready to go do the case for Meech and help get Meech his time cut. So now when Meech came up, it was a new person that came on, and his name was what's his name again, big homie?
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Special Agent Keith Cromer is the new special agent after Jack Harvey retired. Now he's her handler, and they engulfed in a personal relationship, sexual, however they called it in the court. And through that relationship, it tainted the case, and it was dishonorable at that point. They had to throw that out. That's why Meech didn't get out. So now you pose the question of why is my big homie Cuff still in jail? And go ahead, Cuff. You can let them know why, how that happened.
From that conspiracy, they indicted me on 2 murder charges. Subsequently, I pled guilty to 2 gun charges in exchange for them dropping the murder charges.
Now, how did they, hold on, let me ask this for you. Right quick. How did they get you on something that was totally different from the case that Meech and them was had you in a wiretap for?
Out of a totally different, nothing to do with the drug conspiracy, but they falsely accused it as being a part of the drug conspiracy. And then they brought about the gun charges as using the gun charges in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
This call is from a federal prison.
Okay, and did they hit you with a superseding indictment or just?
They superseded me.
So they came out of that case that y'all was in court for and hit you with a whole brand new case that had nothing to do with that at all.
Didn't have nothing to do. Yeah, it still had something to do with that. they still let the drug conspiracy stand between Tammy Cowins and myself. That she
Oh.
started. That's the only way
Oh.
that they can continue to have jurisdiction. They had to leave the drug charges there.
Oh, see, I thought that they said, all right, well, this case is over, but we
pick up murder charges or gun charges unless it's tied to something. If it's not tied to anything, then the government don't have jurisdiction. So a carjacking has to be tied to something. To have a gun charge of using a 924C, as I have, or 924J.
G. Oh, J.
You
Right.
feel me? Discharging a firearm and furthers of a drug trafficking crime that results in death.
Now, you can take that at face value. You can take that how you want it. Now, he said he knows, and because he's in jail now, he says he knows because it should be paperwork on this, because she admitted it on the stand that she did this to give Meech his time cut. And he didn't get it because she was messing around with the guy on the case. And they considered it to be dishonorable. So you heard it directly from his mouth. That's from Cuffy mouth, saying that that actually happened on the stand. She had to say that on the stand. Yeah, that's crazy. So now, Fifth, knowing this story, he'll put out the doc. He'll do all this stuff now. Since Meech want to play this role and you want to go over there with them, you think y'all gonna do this concert? All right, I'm gonna blow up this whole story. And I'm gonna give it, everybody gonna know about this story. Dog, it's the streets. You talking about where's the real proof? When people call home from jail, when people calling from jail and they were your co-D, that ain't a good look. When they say this happened in the trial and you had to go and testify on the stand, they can look that stuff up. Saying she did this and she did that and she was an informant and she's your personal assistant and she was working undercover for the DEA and she was talking about getting you a time cut. That stuff can be looked up. That I done seen people got taken out for less. The streets don't need that kind of proof. If they just get a sniff that you did something foul. But he served all that time anyway because he explained what happened. They threw it out. Dude is the real one snitching. On what? That's how is he snitching and he doing 27 years? He's telling what happened. In the case, like, dude, you cut a deal. But the thing is, and realistically, he didn't get the deal at all. But he's saying because of what y'all did, I got 27 years because of that. That's how he feel about it. That he got those years because Meech basically, rolled on him and sent him to the dogs so he can get a time cut. But he didn't end up getting a time cut anyway. But his case still stuck. So he fighting to get that off. Now, a lot of this stuff I said we was gonna do on the Patreon, we ended up doing it now. So you get a free Patreon. It's still some little stuff And I tell you, there's still some little stuff in the cracks that they didn't cover. I might go over that on the Patreon and give y'all a little backstory, a little bit into what's going on. But I know somebody who ratted, came home. He was looked at as a real gangster out here and real, and they couldn't believe he told. Like he's like the OG and got caught on some dumb stuff. Like what was he even doing? Like they couldn't even like why was he had bags on? Like he ain't got to touch nothing. And he got caught running through a gun and through some bags. And then they took him in and it was like, well, he'll be home. So he probably ain't had nothing that it'd be like selling. Like what would he need to be doing it for? He the OG, like they all answer to this dude. He go in there, he give up his chief lieutenant, he gave up some people. That broke a lot of people's heart. People was in denial. He comes home and created a whole lie to everybody. And they, because of his stature, who he was, and everything, they bought it. Most of the people still roll with him. He got them all back, almost. It made it look like they were the ones turning on him. They wasn't loyal. And he getting back into his command in his neighborhood. And they was like, them people sending paperwork home, like, look, this the paperwork. He was like, man, that stuff fake. I ain't never told them that. Why did I do this time? They would have kept me longer. I won my case because of this. Here's my paperwork saying I did this. He's showing paperwork to when they arrested him, he had a previous warrant for something else. So he had to go serve that time that he already owed them because he was on a warrant and he didn't go to court and they was going to sentence him. He got found guilty. He didn't do the time because he just fled. So when he came back, he had to do that time. That was the time he had to do because he owed them that. So now this case is entirely different from what he's showing everybody else. He's showing, I did my time. Look, it said found guilty. Did this and this and that. Where it said I did this and that. You know what I'm saying? They lying. They coming up with fake paperwork. I'm going to tell you what these dudes did. Now, y'all know me. I'm standing 10 toes down. Now, I knew he was lying by the way he tried to defend himself. I don't know why. I just have a meter. I just know when something ain't right. And I said, I don't believe him at all because he's trying to explain himself too much. He really trying to explain himself, overly trying to explain himself. Like, y'all gotta believe me. You know, it's like, dude, if you that guy, you already know I ain't got to say much. You already know what it is. Yeah, so the whole thing was he's back over there, then he gonna get some more people locked up. That's on them. They'll learn. They was like, Cito, you know a lot of criminals. Dog, I knew a lot of people because we went to school. They weren't criminals in there. They were Eric and Martin and James. You know, now they psycho, maniac, two dukes. I'm like, dog, they lives took them into different areas. You see, when you go to school, that's how you know people from different areas and neighborhoods. School is the meeting ground. A lot of people was from different areas. They didn't live in your hood. Some people lived in your hood. Some people didn't live in your hood. And you get cool with them. You meet them. You learn them. You know, don't go over there. These dudes are shiesty. This section here. So you knew. I knew who did what. They got shooters on the roof over here. You know, it is what it is. You learn a lot from who you associate yourself around. But if you street, you street. And I came up in the streets and got an education by 5th and 6th grade. You couldn't fool me with nothing no more. After 6th grade, that was it. That was 5th and 6th grade was my education. That was my real education there. In 5th and 6th grade, I was like, okay, now I'm learning the streets. The streets, the game, gaming people, all them people running game. Oh yeah, I knew all that. By 5th, 6th grade, you couldn't run nothing on me. It was, no, you ain't scamming me. You ain't fall for scams. But a short-minded thinker can pull you down quicker when they don't see the prize. They don't see the big picture. You know? That's why they end up in the position that they're in. They short-term thinkers. The game. Remember the game? Sold 5 million records. Oh yeah, game. That's Terry. Terry's a short-term thinker. The show tell you all about Terry. They got locked up because of Terry. A lot of stuff they did because Terry was sloppy. And his weakness was hold. Talking on the phone too much. That too. I mean, that was a part of it. He was sloppy. He was, but the show is telling you Terry was never meant for the game anyway. Terry was never meant for the game. He was meant to do something else. He was meant to go to college and do all that. Meech needed him in the game. Exactly. It's time to stop glorifying criminals. Exactly. And making them pillars amongst our communities. That's true. That is 100% true. See, I never glorified the criminal behavior. I always glorified the ones that went to school and said, hey, I'm going to put this work in. We're going to go to school. We finna work. We finna do that. See, back when I grew up, even the gangsters made sure you went to school. The gangsters be like, hey, little boy, hey, you know your mama, man, Miss Jenkins come down here, man. You better take your butt up to school. Hey, you don't come around here with us. No. You know your mama, boy. If I see you down here again, boy, take your butt upstairs, man. You do that homework. Don't come down here. Cause see, they look out. They used to look out for those kids in the hood that do like they don't go and recruit. They didn't have to recruit. Those people from the streets, they know they ain't street, they hood. They already know. They ain't like they feel like I'm hopeless. I'm in this thing. It was an entirely different world. They had standards. They protected the neighborhood. They were different. They was hey, y'all gonna go to school. Y'all go to school, hit them books, get smart. You know, don't be out here like us. You know what I'm saying? We making sure y'all gonna be straight. No, Fifth is from the streets. He's telling you Fifth came from the streets, but he didn't make his millions of dollars in the streets. He made it in the business world. If you actually listen to 50 Cent, you would all actually learn something. He's showing you how the entertainment business up. He's the one that built his own studio. Why did these guys, these other people, the Denzels and all of them, the Will Smiths, where are they production studios at? Right? Why all these black brothers ain't got together and said, hey, man, why are we going to these white people studios? Let's put our own movie together. You think when nobody come see a movie, if Denzel Washington produced it and put it out himself? If Oprah, Denzel, all these so-called billionaires got together and said, hey, let's make our own thing, put out our own, produce and distribute our own movie. Next week, Oprah's on trial for child trafficking. in her school in Africa, and she's been named, and she will be in court next week. You be, damn, they got open. Dog, trust me, they gonna toe the line. They got enough stuff on them to put all of them away. Do I think he's overreacting? Absolutely not. I don't think he's overreacting at all. They're the ones screwing it up. But you wonder why Fifth be so the way he is? It's because of this. People like this. They think in small terms. They thinking only about them. And they don't think nothing wrong with what they doing. They don't see nothing wrong with what they doing. Hit the like button, y'all. Get them likes up. They think everything is everything. How many times have we seen that? Look, nothing changes. The name of the game has never changed from what it is now. Man, they could dance around and play with it as much as they want. Everybody know what's going on. They can see it. They can feel it. They know it. Oh yeah. So when on the Patreon, we gonna go into this a little bit more, so y'all can understand like what some of the missing pieces was and how things kind of got to where it is. Oh yeah, we definitely doing that. Right now on the Patreon, we got the Dark Side of the Stars. They never speak about episode 2, and you wonder why you never hear nothing about it. But yep, I brings it all to the light. So that's what's going on right there. And we gonna keep it cracking. So don't forget to join the Patreon. And hopefully you learned something from this. This is a very teachable moment. Don't think small time, small term. Like when I was telling y'all about business, I was telling y'all about 8, 9, 10 years down the road. I'm telling y'all 8, 9, 10 years from now. I'm like, look, 8, 9, 10 years from now. 8, 9, 10. Think about it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I'm not saying, man, 6 months, you're gonna be this. Me's gonna be working at Checkers tomorrow. No, I don't think that's the case. But when somebody who's using you and using you, giving you a little bread so they want to use your name to try to get back at somebody else, you know, I ain't gonna be used in no war going back and forth. Like, look, I had 2 friends that fell out, right? I'm not gonna let one friend use me to get back at somebody else. You're not gonna use me for that. If you got a problem with that person, y'all deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not finna, you ain't finna use me as no instrument to try to hurt somebody else. I'm not, you ain't gonna be able to do that with me. Mm-hmm. He said in prison, a correctional officer is the best friend to have. Hey, he said y'all just mad. I don't know why they mad. It's not like I'm calling him a snitch. I don't know if he snitched. I'm just saying I played the audio to show you what's that. But there's some behind the scenes things you guys don't know anything about that went on in this situation. That a lot of stuff happened that in those gaps that would probably bridge a lot of it. So I'll say that part for the Patreon. But y'all heard a lot of what was going to be on the Patreon already on here. So anyway, I'll see y'all on the Patreon. I'm out. Deuce.